Section 1. Urban Issues and Challenges. The LIC Trap. Okay, first things first. You have to lock down your specific case studies. You've got your UK city, maybe that's Leeds, Bristol, or London, and your low-income country city. But just knowing the name of the city is nowhere near enough. You need to know the specific trap the examiner is waiting to catch you in.
And here is the biggest trap in the entire paper. When a question pops up about challenges in an LIC city like Lagos, Rio, or Mumbai, 80% of students immediately panic and start writing about the environment. They write about pollution, traffic congestion, smog. Wrong. The examiner specifically wants social challenges. You absolutely have to talk about the explosive growth of squatter settlements, the complete lack of access to healthcare, and skyrocketing crime rates. Hit those three, and you just dodged a trap that destroys almost everyone else's grade. Next up, the examiner loves, and I mean loves, asking for a specific urban planning scheme in an LIC that actually improves people's quality of life. You cannot be vague here. You need a highly specific example like the Makoko Floating School in Lagos. You've got to be able to name the scheme, point to exactly what it did, and prove without a doubt that it actually worked.
Now flip that to your UK city regeneration question. Think the Olympic Park in Stratford or Leeds Trinity. Here is your ultimate cheat code to grab full marks. Do not just sit there and describe what buildings they put up. You must hit these 3 exact steps in order. Step 1. Explain exactly why the regeneration was desperately needed in the first place. Step 2. List the physical key features of the project. And Step 3. Evaluate the real-world benefits. Memorize that exact structure and you are golden.
Before we jump sections, get ready for a snappy, short-mark question on the patterns of urbanization. You need to confidently explain why urbanization rates are absolutely skyrocketing in LICs but totally slowing down in HICs. Have a punchy, one-sentence answer ready to fire off. Because after that easy warm-up, we are stepping into an absolute minefield. Section 2. Changing Economic World. The 9 Markers Secrets. This section is brutal if you aren't prepared, but we're going to crush the highest value questions right here, right now. Let's talk 9 markers.
The examiner is completely obsessed with the development gap. The core strategies you've got to know are fair trade, aid, intermediate technology, tourism, and debt relief. But listen to me, do not just memorize what they are. That's what average students do. You need to prepare a 9-marker evaluating which of these is actually the most effective at closing the gap. You have to weigh them up against each other and argue a bulletproof conclusion. That is exactly how you jump up to the top tier.
When you're tackling the UK North/South divide, please don't just state that the South is richer. The examiner knows that. They want solutions. You absolutely must name-drop enterprise zones, specifically mention transport infrastructure improvements, and you better write the words Northern Powerhouse. Dropping those exact terms proves to the examiner you actually know the real-world geography.
Now watch out for this incredibly rare but deadly question. Every year, students constantly mix up the historical and physical causes of uneven development with the consequences. Remember, causes are things like landlocked geography or a brutal history of colonization. Consequences are the results, things like lower life expectancy or massive migration. Do not mix them up, or you're going to score a 0.
Let's bring this back to the UK economy. Why did the UK shift to a post-industrial economy? If you really want to make the examiner's day, you must use these 3 exact terms: deindustrialization, globalization, and government policy. If you're writing a 6-marker on economic change and those 3 phrases are missing from your answer, you are literally leaving marks on the table.
Section 3. Resource Management, the Final Exam Traps. We are sprinting to the finish line now. Remember our golden rule from the very beginning of this explainer? Water is out for the first compulsory part, so where on earth should you put your focus instead? My massive prediction here is that the first major compulsory question will be all about the UK's changing energy mix. You've got to be able to explain the shift away from fossil fuels and the huge rise of renewables and nuclear power. Now, if it's not energy, the backup prediction is a question on the rise of agribusinesses in the UK. Make sure you have both locked and loaded. Okay, for the second part, where you answer based on your own school-specific topic, whether that's food, water, or energy, you usually have 2 case studies, right? An extraction scheme and a sustainable scheme. Listen closely. Heavily revise the sustainable scheme. The examiner is heavily favoring questions about sustainability right now. That is where the marks are.
And to wrap this up, here are your final 2 massive predictions for this section. The insecurity checklist.
First, you need to know exactly what factors affect global supply. Why do some countries have an absolute abundance of energy or food, while others have literally nothing? Second, know these specific negative impacts of insecurity directly from the AQA specification, like what actually happens on the ground when a country's supply completely fails.
So here is the ultimate question for you. How does this exact checklist map to your school's case studies? Right now, I want you to take your notes and match your specific cities and schemes directly to these predictions. Come back and drop a comment on this explainer after the exam to let us know how many of these traps you successfully dodged. And hey, if you crush this, let us know if you need the ultimate cheat sheet for paper 3. Get to work, you've got this.